Fallout London, the total conversion mod for Fallout 4 has arrived. That's the good news. The bad news is that the installation of Fallout London has issues. It's a multi-step process, and if you follow the default instructions, it will make a mess of your files and will prevent you from playing Fallout 4 while London is installed. This video will walk you through the steps to treat Fallout London like a mod using Mod Organizer 2, instead of a full invasion of those nice, friendly little British people. Hey everyone, it's Kyle from Dirty Weasel. Let's just start with this message from the Fallout London installer as reason for this tutorial. Doing it the way the devs suggest, you will be creating a mess of your files. It will change your default ini files and insert over 30 gigs into the main directory for Fallout 4. This all runs contrary to why we use mod managers like Mod Organizer 2. It's basically to keep your main directory as clean as possible and allow us control over the mod instead of the reverse. Fortunately, we can get around this, and there's more than one way to do so. I have a ton of information to go over, so let's just get into it. This is a view of my Fallout 4 installation via Mod Organizer 2. I use the latest dev version. If you want to get your own, I would go ahead and go to the Discord to get the latest version. But this is what you're going to see when you have a basic setup. You're going to have all this stuff up here and your mods, quote unquote, and then all your ESPs and ESM files. These are your plugins over here. So this is mod info and plugins. And you can see all the stuff that Fallout 4 has and offer. I also have the Fallout 4 script extender over here. We need to get rid of a lot of this stuff here before we can even install Fallout London, and that's via the downgrading system. And we'll talk more about this, but I wanted you to see the basic layout of what I'm looking at when you're looking at a vanilla version of Fallout 4. This will give you a reference point. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. I'm going to suggest that you uninstall the game. If you are already using Mod Organizer 2, all your mods will stay. This application is the portable version of Mod Organizer 2, so it will stay for Fallout 4 forever and ever and ever, and I'll show you that. We're going to need to clean this up. There might be issues with the high resolution patch. I've heard that going out, so we need to get rid of that. There's no way to get rid of this, and I'm actually trying to disable it. Disable selected. It won't disable. We're going to need to remove that. So we need to get rid of that first. There is another issue that we need to talk about. This is the main directory for Fallout 4. So you can see Steam, Steam Common, Fallout 4. This is the game. There are things in here that if you try to install Fallout London without removing them first, it will not work. Fallout London will crash. So you need to clean this up, and I see there's stuff about EMB stuff in here. There's a Fallout 4 script extender. This is the latest version. It's 9.8.4. That's how I know it's the newest version, 0.0.72. Let's see. XSE is in here somewhere. And you can see where the problems come in, is that you sometimes have a hard time figuring out which DLL or something else may come to be a problem with uninstalling all this, because something like F4SE, this is version dependent. XSE, the plugin preloader, which is in here somewhere, there it is. This is version dependent. So this is the newest version, but we need the old version to run it inside of Fallout London, or you may have a crash. That's why we need to clean this up. So I'm going to suggest that you uninstall Fallout 4 in Steam. I know, it's going to be painful and you're going to have to re-download it, but hear me out. There are multiple reasons why. So let's just start that process right now. I'm going to uninstall it. I'm just going to do it. We're just doing it right now. Boom. Okay, game is uninstalled. That was just that quick. So there's a couple things before you reinstall it that you want to make sure you do. Properties, updates, make sure that this is not set to always keep game updated. We want to set this to only when I launch the game. That's number one. We do not want the game automatically updating and then messing up Fallout London. So only when I launch this game through Steam will it auto update. Number two, DLC. You can see you have all the Game of the Year stuff in here and all the DLC. We want to, when we re-download Fallout 4, we want to turn off the high resolution pack because I've heard reports that it is causing crashing issues. So it's not really that good. So I say, get rid of it. So now we're ready to reinstall the game. And remember, we didn't lose a lot of things. If you go into Documents, Fallout 4, you still have all your saves and you have your original INI files in here. So if you made any changes to your original default INI files, they're still in Documents. And if we go into the Fallout folder before re-downloading, there's all the files that need to be removed before installing it for Fallout London, because these are all going to be version dependent. So what I'm going to suggest is you just rename it. Fallout 4, we'll call it Next Gen Files. This way, when you go back to the Next Gen version of Fallout 4, you don't need to try and remember what's in here. You can just grab all these and put them back into your main directory later. But this way, you keep them around. So that's part of my reason. When the game reinstalls, it'll just create a new Fallout 4 folder. Don't worry about that. So I think we're all ready. Our high resolution pack is disabled. We've got a nice clean folder that we're going to be going to. And Mod Organizer is still hanging out. It thinks it doesn't know that anything's gone. So it says, there's nothing here, guys. So let's just close that down. So I'm going to go ahead and hit install right now, and then we'll come back and we'll start this process to get Fallout London installed. Okay, we're back. Fallout 4 is reinstalled. I've already run it once through the normal launcher, not the Fallout launcher, but the Fallout 4 launcher to make sure it's working correctly, and everything does. Your main directory is completely clean. There's nothing in here that's going to cause a problem. Here I am on the Fallout4London.com page, and this is the basic homepage. And as modders, we're basically interested in modding it, so let's go to releases, because this is going to tell us how to get it. There are requirements. We talked about you're going to need all of its DLC and Game of the Year edition. So we've got all those, and now we're missing the high resolution pack because we did not re-download it. So we are good to go. You're going to need a downgrader, and that's going to be our next step. When you come down here, instructions on downloading your game are included in the downgrading tool. You can get our downgrading tool from the Nexus mod site, which I have up above, but there is another option. Down here on downgrading Fallout 4 manually, you can expand that out. It will tell you how to use the Steam console to put in all these things, all these commands, and it will downgrade it. There is an excellent video from Gopher. If you want to go see it, go search Gopher, Fallout London, downgrading. Simple enough. I think it's too tedious. The downgrader worked fine for me. We will do it that way. We're going to need to downgrade with the Fallout London downgrader and add-ons on the Fallout Nexus. And you can see it's mod number 1, nexusmods.com/Fallout4/Fallout4London, /mods/1. It is mod number 1. When you look at the description, it will tell you what is included. If you just get the base one, you're going to get the downgrader. That's all I'm really interested in. It'll give you stripped ESMs on the add-ons, and it'll tell you if you need to do that. If you're planning to create a mod for Fallout London, you're going to need this. Do not use the hexed ESM unless you plan to create mods for Fallout London, so you'll need that. Then there are the source scripts, so if you want to see everything. Okay, and farther down, there are recommended mods. I will be covering recommended mods in a later video and go through installation because there are some special instructions for some of these, but I wanted you to be aware of that information. Let's go to Files. This is the updated version, and this is July 29th, same day as today. I have a version that I got off of the Discord on a GitHub page. But I think we're going to go ahead and manually download it and see if this newest version works. So let's just do it right now and see what we get. Inside of here, Fallout 4 Downgrader and add-ons. I will get rid of that. That's the old one that I got off of Discord. So we'll get rid of that and open this up and see what we got. The Downgrader is in here. There's the stripped ESM, hex ESM, source scripts, recommended mods. I'm just curious what's in here. I would not do this. I would not do any of that because you want to be able to do that on your own. So ENB and reshades, there's some ENB suggestions, but there's some good information here. The Downgrader is what we want. And the only thing we need on here is the full-on downgrader.exec, and we're going to slide it over and put it on our desktop. Well, it ended up over here. Get over there where I can see you. So we are now ready to downgrade. If we open up Mod Organizer, this is our reference point. And you can see all the things. We're going to get rid of a lot of this stuff here. We're still on vanilla. We haven't downgraded yet, so we still have the newest version of F4SE. But let's run the downgrader. This is your first sign that things are a little bit different. So if you do not want to put your Steam information into the downgrader, and it will ask you for your account name and password later on, that may be a reason to do it by manually through the Steam console. I'm just letting you know. So to downgrade Fallout 4, we'll need the path to the Fallout folder where you have your game installed. The folder should be the one containing fallout4.exec. So you can either go back to where you keep Fallout 4, and this is in my Steam Apps Common, and you go down to Fallout 4 and copy that address, just copy it down and place it in that line right there, or you can browse. It seems like they fixed the browse button. Okay? It may be faster depending on where you are, but I will go through this process. So we've got my G drive, Steam Apps, Common, Fallout 4, select folder. It's the same one, and press continue. Now I'm going to block this out, but once again, this is maybe the reason why you don't want to give out the information, even though it's going right to Steam. You will see in the console up above that the information is querying Steam for your information. I'm going to block this out temporarily while I put in my username and password so you can't see it. There's a button here if you want to be able to see your password. Now, all you see is a black box here. One thing I will note is that this username that you see right here is your account name, not your username. My username on Steam is Dirty Weasel. My account name is not. So just be aware, if you have different usernames versus account names, it may throw you off there. So just be aware. This is going to be blocked out until I go to the next page. So we're going to log on to Steam. Now I moved boxes around so you still can't see my account name, but you can see downgrade Fallout 4. The following button can take quite a while. Please be patient. We're going to find out if this works. Go ahead and click downgrade Fallout 4. This will take a long time. All right, and we're done. It did take quite a while. I didn't have time to go watch a video. So it is done downgrading. We can go ahead and click finish. So let's check in on Mod Organizer and see what we've got. Okay, this is a much more pared down version of the game. All the Creation Club stuff is gone. You have just the basics here. We are now ready to move on. But before we leave Mod Organizer at this time, there's a couple things we need to do. We have now downgraded to 0.63 for the Fallout 4 script extender. Let's turn that off in our vanilla profile. While we're here, we're going to make a new profile, and this is a super important step. Remember, in Mod Organizer, it uses its own profile, and this is the profile, ini files. And these are my ini files that I copied over after using Bethany Pie, which is a ini file editor and manager. So I don't want to lose all these because they're tuned next-gen version of Fallout 4. When we create a new version, a new profile, we want to make sure two things are going to happen. Use profile-specific save games. Use profile-specific game any file. So when we make some changes for Fallout London, it will be specifically for the Fallout London profile. But for right now, we can just copy this one, call it Fallout London. And we'll select that one. And there we go. Now we are set up. So now you can see Fallout London is the set profile. It does not have the Fallout 4 script extender scripts for 0.7.2. We will be replacing that later. And you see all of our plugins are the bare bones. All that other stuff is gone. Let's close that down. Back on the Fallout London page, you can see we're going to need to get a GOG account. So you're going to have to sign up for that. No matter what, you're going to have to sign up for a GOG account. And there are instructions here for how to install it manually for mod managers. It is a very basic, bare bones version, but it will be a helpful reminder. Let's head over to GOG. I have a GOG account because I have other games through them. When you go to their main page, oddly enough, Fallout London is right at the top. We're going to duck out of that for a second. If you already have a GOG Galaxy account, the desktop app, and go to their home, right at the top, Fallout London is there. If you click on that, I've already got it, but it will say claim, and then they will place it in your library. So there's two options here, and we'll discuss both in turn. Back on the GOG page, click on Fallout London, go to your library, and you'll see Fallout London there. Expand that window. You can see download and install now. This will install GOG Galaxy, the desktop app, so you can download it quickly. This was much faster for me in testing, but if you don't wish to get the GOG Galaxy desktop app, you're going to need to download all of these files and download the offline backup game installer. There are 10 parts here. You will need all 10. Part number 1 is an executable that relies on having all other 9 pieces. I went through and I downloaded all of these things to test it out, and I'm going to show you what you end up with. If you do download all 10 of them, I would suggest putting them into a single folder like this, because it's going to want to be able to see all the different parts and pieces. So you can see the numbering system here. You have the executable, you have 1, see down here, 1.bin, 2.bin, 3.bin, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That's all 10 parts. So if you don't have them sequentially, all you can do is just do that. You're going to need to go back and find the piece that you're missing. The one that you're missing is always the part number minus 1. So if you're missing part 9, subtract 1 from part 10, and that will give you 9. If you're missing part 5, subtract 1 from 6, that will give you part 5. When you run this, it will get you a folder with all of the information needed for the mod. All the files, all the data files, all the executables. It will give you versions of a earlier version of F4SE. It'll give you everything. But it does take a very long time. It took over 2 hours to go through it this way. So that's an option. If you don't want to do GOG Galaxy, run the executable once you have the other 9 files, and it will get you it, but it will take a long time. So back over on GOG Galaxy. This is the much faster option, is through GOG Galaxy, and we're going to click install. This will not install anything to your main directory for Fallout 4 at this time. It's just going to go get stuff for you. Just go ahead and click install, and it's going to ask you where to install it. It may want to put something else. This is the default one here, C programmed file x86 GOG Galaxy games. I wanted it easy for me to find on my G drive, which is my games drive, so I put in G drive GOG. There's my G drive and GOG Galaxy right there, and it is completely empty. So it is ready to receive the information. There is a terms of service, that's fine, but I'm okay with the G drive for GOG. We do not want to create a desktop shortcut. We do not want to keep this game updated automatically. Because we're using a mod manager, we will never be launching it through GOG. Just uncheck it. We're going to be installing any updates manually. I'm not sure how they're going to do it just yet, but that's what we've got. So go ahead and install. This is going to take quite a bit of time as well, but not nearly as long as it took for me to install it manually through the file folder with the 10 bin files in it. All right, that has finished downloading all the files. And it still took a lot less time than downloading all of these archive, all 10 of these files, and then compiling all, because that took a long time to do all of this stuff. But I wanted to try it anyways. So back in Mod Organizer, nothing has changed yet. All we've done is downloaded the files for Fallout London. We have not installed anything. There's nothing in our main directory either. That has not changed one bit. Nothing's here. Our data folder is still clean. You don't see anything from London here yet. But what did we get? Inside of the file we created, the folder we created in our G drive, so I could see it, is GOG Fallout London. Let's open this up and take a look at it. So we have app data, config, support, data. That's going to be our main one. You also got SRC. These are the source files. You have the F4SE file. And there's actually more here than I expected. Those would be important. And in config, we have all new ini file. So we've got everything we need to start installing, and that's our next step. All right, let's install this bad boy. Okay, let's open our mods folder. You can see this folder attachment right here. Drop it down, open your mods folder. And you can see the only thing we have, even though it's not active, is F4SE scripts 0.72. It will not be active, but it is always there because it is in the left panel mod organizer. Even if it's not active, that's where it will be. Now let's go back to the GOG Fallout London page. The first thing we're going to handle is the data folder. So there are two ways to do this. The quick way, which is to copy this and paste it in here. Refresh, and you see data. That will need to be renamed because all we did was took the data folder out and dropped it into the mods folder. So let's rename that. Call it Fallout London. We have nothing in our plugins, but as soon as we activate it, boom. You have the Fallout London World Space DLC block. You have a block of framework.esm, which was included in the data folder already, and the London World Space.esm. So you're getting 3 new ESPs. That's step 1. That's the basic step. There is another way to do this, and I would suggest doing it for long-term storage. We're going to close our mods folder because it is already there. We're going to open our downloads folder. This is where I keep all of the downloads for Fallout 4 within Mod Organizer. Open the GOG folder again, and that data folder can be archived and placed into your downloads folder very easily. There's 2 ways to do that, but we're going to right-click on data, and we're going to create an archive. I use WinRAR, other people use 7-zip. It's basically the same thing. If you're using WinRAR, we can add it to an archive, and we're going to change the archive name to Fallout London, and then the compression method, we are not going to compress the file. We are just going to store it. This is very fast, and it will not have any compression, so we have a very no chance of losing any data. So press OK. So now we have our Fallout London.rar on this side. We have one of 2 options. We can just drag it into the downloads folder, or just drag it into your downloads tab in Mod Organizer, and it'll work the same way. So there will be no information on this because we didn't get it from the Nexus. But in the future, if you want to remove Fallout London, remove the mod. You now have the RAR already set and ready to go, and you can reinstall it. It'll say name Fallout London, put a space in there, manual, and it's got the data folder right on top. Press OK, and we're right back to where we started with our plugin setup and these 3 things. All right, so we have now got the data folder installed. We've got the ESMs and ESPs from that. Then there's a lot in here. All these London world spaces is a lot of information. It's 32 gigabytes worth of information here. It also contains F4SE. So it's got its own set of plugins for F4SE, and it already has the scripts for F4SE. That is fully installed, and it's got the scripts for F4SE. We technically don't need F4SE for 0.6.23. But if you wanted to get it over here on the Fallout 4, the F4SE silverlock.org, this is the Fallout 4 script extender page, you can see you're not going to get the newest version. You would need 1.10.163, which is build 0.6.23. And you can get that. And I already have it uninstalled. So if you wanted to, you could install it below Fallout London. And we can install that by setting data as our top level, the data as directory. Change the name because it's scene 7.2. We'll need to change that to this. And then I'm going to edit this name down. So it's F4SE scripts for version 6.23 as opposed to the newest one, 0.72. That's completely unnecessary. So watch what happens when I click it in Mod Organizer 2. It's saying there's conflicts. Oh, what conflicts are there? Okay, there are 29 files that are duplicates. These are not overwrites. It may say they're overwrites, but they're simply duplicates of the files contained in Fallout London. And if we open that in our file tree and look at the scripts, I've counted this out. There are exactly 29 of these scripts. So is it needed to have F4SE for the latest version or for this version of Fallout London? Probably not. So I'm going to disable it, but I wanted to show it to you just in case you had questions about F4SE. So we're getting close. There's a couple things we need to do, and these are loose file issues. Put that back to Fallout 4. So we're back in GOG Fallout London. Go into Common and Fallout 4. We need to go get F4SE out of the GOG Fallout London file folder. So we need the DLL. We haven't installed that yet. We need the executable, and we need the F4SE Steam Loader.dll. We can just drag them over and drop them in. Right? So we have everything we need to run F4SE within Mod Organizer. So now we can change our start program to F4SE. And we just leave it there because every time we want to run Fallout London at this point, we have to run it through the Fallout 4 script extender. As usual, that's a very normal thing. Now let's talk about ini files. The ini files that are in Mod Organizer right now for Fallout London are the base game files. These are not set up for Fallout London. Fallout London comes with its own unique ini files, and they're located in the config folder. And you can see Fallout4.ini and Fallout4prefs.ini. If we just open that up with Notepad++, when you scroll down, you will see a large number of archives in here. London world space, over and over and over. So what it's telling the game to do is you need to run these archives on startup. That does not exist in the base game folder. We do not want to change our ini files inside the documents folder. Those are always default. We never change those. But we do need to insert these into the ini files for Mod Organizer 2. So we go that by opening our profiles folder, and you'll see Fallout London. Open that up, and you will see the Fallout 4 ini, the Fallout 4 custom.ini, which will not be changing, and the Fallout 4 prefs.ini. To get our GOG file back open, we'll just highlight both of those, copy them, because we don't want to lose them, and paste them in. And it's going to just tell you, do you want to change those two files? Yes. Good enough. So now our ini files have changed for London. That's all set. If you go back into your ini editor, you'll see the references to Fallout London right here. But if you go back to your vanilla and check again, you do not see any references to London in here. So that's why we use profile-specific ini files. So you can swap back and forth and run the correct thing. If you were to run the vanilla ini files for London, you will get imagery from London, but you'll get music from Fallout 4 vanilla. That's your first clue that something's wrong. And then it will not allow you to start a new game. Just keep that in mind. But we are not done with the ini files. And this is a very common thing I want to talk about, is many of us in the modding community use a tool called Bethany Pie. And I use it on all my ini files. Every one of them is optimized using this tool. So we are going to Documents, My Games, Fallout 4, and look at the custom let's just say the Fallout 4 ini. You'll see that it's formatted in alphabetical order. And even the categories, even the main categories display, you can see, and within inside each category, it's alphabetized. It makes finding things very, very easy. The ini files for London are not. They're not alphabetized, they're not organized, and they're not optimized. Bethany Pie will do that for you, but there's something that I need you to know about Bethany Pie in regards to Fallout 4. So when you run it for the first time with the Fallout London profile, you can select the game, select game, but when you look at it and you go to edit and you do setup, it's going to point to your documents folder automatically. We need to get it to the profiles for Fallout London. So we're going to browse, and we know that my mod organizer is in my common folder and mod organizer 2 for Fallout 4. We go to profiles, there's Fallout London, and there's our Fallout 4 ini, and that's all it's looking for is that one folder, that one file. And you can see I've run it before. We don't want to do that just yet, but that's where it's going to store all the backups. But the Fallout 4 ini is where we're looking for it, so you want to open that up. Now, it's changed the directory. The game path is still correct, but the ini path of what we're changing is going to be for the profiles for Fallout London. Go ahead and press OK. One of the things I need you to know about Bethany Pie in relation to Fallout London, it is very common for us to click Apply Recommended Tweaks. Incredibly useful. Do not do this under any circumstance. Do not use the Apply Recommended Tweaks. In testing, when you use the Apply Recommended Tweaks in Bethany Pie to the Fallout London ini files, it will break them for Fallout London. It will get the wrong music and you will not be able to start a new game. What you can do is change the resolution, and you can change the quality preset. That does not change anything else. But do not use the Apply Recommended Tweaks. There are many other tweaks in here that are incredibly useful, but I would use them sparingly. Motion blur? Fine, take it off. You don't need it. Everyone hates motion blur anyway. NV fix, I heard someone else mention that the debris effect, it's already off inside the ini files for Fallout London. So they knew something was up about this. Bethany Pie will always have the values that are set by the ini file. That's how it works. It's only when you start to edit things is when it'll want to save it. Next step on this, we want to save it. Now watch these boxes very carefully. We press save. Do you want to save G Documents, My Games? No. This is our Documents folder. We don't want to change that. Press no. Do you want to save MO2 Fallout 4 profiles for Fallout London? Yes, I want to save that one. Do you want to save the Steam Apps Common MO2 FO4 profiles for Fallout London? The Fallout 4 ini? Yes. Good. We're done. So it didn't change our ones in our Documents folder, but it only changed the ones in the Profiles folder for the ini files for Fallout London. Very important to know. And we now close it down. You want to quit? Yes. Do you want to save documents? See, it's trying to do it again. Sneaky bastard. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, so we're all set. So now when we look at our ini editor, it's now in alphabetical order. So it just reordered things. It set my resolution correctly. And the other stuff you can just go ahead and test it as needed. That's the basics. Like I said, under no circumstances do you use recommended tweaks. All right, I think we've got everything we need. We got our plugins. We've got our F4SE, the correct version. Even we've got our F4SE startup. Let's just run it and see what happens. There we have it. Now, one of the things I noticed in the ini files, but I didn't want to change it without doing anything first, is it sets to default. It sets to default for the controller, so off. Okay, now we have our game ready to run. Let's just try and start a new game. All right, and it did take a little bit longer than I expected running it without the New London launcher, but it does work. So at this point, we can start a new game. This is the loading, this is the character creation screen. We've gotten all the way through it. It should run just fine. There's not going to be any issues. So let's just queue out of here. So there's that. I think we've got everything we need. The game, under my testing, using the same exact system of getting to this point, everything worked perfectly. I was able to start the game and start going through the starter dungeon, no problem. We're going to call it at this point. We've got everything started. We've got every setup. We can control everything from here in Mod Organizer 2. I will have another video coming out in the next couple days about the recommended mods, some stability mods like Buff Out. We will get XSE up and running because it is required for Buff Out to run, and start going through some other essentials. But as of right now, installation for Fallout London is complete in Mod Organizer 2. So that's all I've got for you today, guys. Thank you for being patient for a very long video, but there was a ton of information to cover, and I will see you all next time. My name is Cal. I'm from Dirty Weasel, and I'm signing off.